Users, this is Jim Rigney coming to you. I promised a lot of you that I would be doing some more demo videos. I'm sorry for the long pause in between the first couple, but I've been pretty busy lately. So back to it. One of the most requested videos is doing menus for websites. So I thought I'd cover that for you. I know a lot of people have requested, and I continue to see new people. How do we do the menus? How do you do the mobile menus, the hamburger menus, those kind of things. So I'm going to try to give you an overview of what I've used on one of my popular sites, and hopefully that will help you out. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show a link, or at the bottom of this video, hopefully you'll see a link where you can sign up to make sure you don't miss any of these videos. After I do each one of these, I'm going to put them in a free membership site. So you can go on there if you haven't accessed it before. You click on the new registration, you can log in, access the membership site. I'm going to continue to put more and more videos in there, so hopefully that'll help you out. If you have any questions, you can always email me or PM me on Facebook. So let's get to it. So as you can see on my screen, one of the more popular sites that I've shared out there is this website. And I am planning, and I will eventually, I'm going to go a total walkthrough of this website, from the menu to all the different features, all the different ways you can tie the WordPress blogs and the podcasts, and do different effects from Convertri, and show you how you can build a multiple $1,000 website with the Convertri tools. So you'll be seeing the right link. You'll be seeing a lot more information in the membership site as I develop these other programs. So stay tuned. So here we are at basically a blank page. I'm not going to create it right from scratch, but you'll be able to get the concept. I do the menus when I start a website. I do the menus. I do one page, just the menu, and you can basically do the same thing for the footer. But I'm just going to demonstrate the menu right now, and then you can get the gist of it for a footer. But I start with a blank page, and I go to layers. And the first thing I do is I create a layer called a sticky header, and you'll see this. And basically I build my menu that's going to be at the top of every one of my pages. That way if I ever have a change, I just change it in one spot and it goes across all my pages. Hopefully I can show you how to do that in this video. So in this case, I've got 5 main menu options, and then I've created pull downs under 3 of these options. So these pull downs can be somewhat tricky if you're not familiar with layers and then triggers on how to activate the layers. So I'll explain this, and again, being a video, it's nice because I think you can stop, pause, and try things on your own and see if you can get them to work. One of the great upgrades quite a while now, but is the rollover feature now that Convertri offers. So if you click on any one of these elements and go over here to background, you can see on the background of the image, whenever it initially appears on the page, and then on mouse over, you can actually change it a little bit. So you'll see on my menu, see how it just changes a little bit just to reflect that you're over the particular menu item. So that's what this background, this rollover on mouse over, you can do that for every one of your elements, so that when somebody's toggling over them, they can see it without any problems. So on my you can see I put basically a frame or a panel behind all the pull down menus, and you can see up here that it's a hidden element. So I do the menus basically using hidden elements. All of these elements that you don't see, obviously whenever you bring up a page, you don't see all these hidden elements. It's not until I actually roll over something that you see them. So you always have to have all these as hidden elements. And then the key is using actions to know when to unhide and hide things. So if I look at all of these items here and I go to actions, actually I want to go to the element that I want to trigger the actions. Whenever I roll over across about, you can see I've named that menu about. When I mouse enters this about, I'm going to show the menu about, which is the menu about is this. This is what I named menu about. And how you name those, sorry if I'm jumping around a little bit, but how you name those elements is in this general properties. So when I put this panel here, I call this menu about. So whenever I reference it in my triggers, my actions, I can call up this internal name and it knows exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go back to our actions. So when I'm rolling over this element about, what I do is I show menu about, and then I also, just to make sure that everything's hidden, this is kind of a double thing that I've learned, that for some reason some things show up and they don't disappear. So I make sure that when I want to trigger one thing, I also make sure that I hide everything I don't want to trigger, and it just makes it foolproof. So whenever I roll over the about, I'm going to show menu about, and then I'm going to hide the menu for locations and the menu for the media. So and then I have to do that for each one. So locations, if you look, I'm going to show menu locations, and I'm going to hide menu media and hide menu about. And if I move this over, if I click on media, same thing. I'm going to show the media, but I'm going to hide the menu locations and the menu about. So that covers it when you're rolling over these features. But what happens if I roll over the about and then I roll off of the about? This is a little tricky. I'm going to make this video is going a little bit long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this video off at desktop menus, and then I'm going to create another video on using the same header that I'm talking about for your mobile menus. So so how I handled that is, you can see I have an invisible panel basically around all of my menu items, and you can see on my actions when I say if I come off of the about and into this panel, or come off of it in between, I'm going to hide everything. So my mouse enters this top panel. I'm going to hide all the menus: menu media, menu locations, and menu about. So what about below it? So what I did is I created this little outline around my drop down menus, and I named this, I don't know if I have to name this or not, let's look. I called it hide studio menu, but actually it's hide all menus. So if I go back over to my actions and I'm on this invisible section around everything, actually I could take that and I can make it even closer if I want. It doesn't really matter. When a mouse enters this invisible spot off of all these, I'm going to hide everything again. So I'm hiding menu locations, menu media, menu about. So just to kind of walk through what we did, if I go over to the main page, let's refresh it. So this top menu is this is basically going to be our iframe for every other page. And what we've covered so far is I've created, if I roll over the about, this appears. But if I roll off the about anywhere, because I've got this section set to, as soon as I get off the about in this section, it's going to hide everything. Or if I go down here and I fall off the end, it erases it off the sides. See how it disappears every time I do that. So that's why we just went over what we just did. And then as I roll over each one of these, it's really makes it nice and clean, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The other important thing to know is I'm going to make this an iframe. So when I'm going to go to the page settings, and I want to make sure the background for this iframe is 100% transparent, because whenever I post it on another page, I want it to overlay on top of that page. I don't want it to have its own color and look goofy. So let's close out of here. I can leave. And if we go to the home page, I'll show you how I put this on the home page. And again, we'll cover the mobile menu too, so no worries. I just want to break the videos up so that they're completely separate so you can see it. So if I click on this, you can see the outline goes all the way down here. And whenever you put the iframe on here, you got to also be aware, I want to make this you have to bring this all the way to the front so it's over the top of everything else. So we're going to make sure that goes all the way to the front. And then what I do is basically this is just on all the other pages, this is a window to that header page that we created. So all I'm going to do is put an HTML element, and then I'm just going to put this one line of code. Whoops, let's try it again. This one line of code with the iframe, and what that does is it's going to take this page, which is the one we just went over, and we're going to create an iframe over the top of all of our other pages. Believe me, I'm not much of a coder. Some of the other guys in the group, Mike Major, and I think Bruce Wedding, I've seen him, some other guys create codes that can help you with a lot of workarounds, but I'm not much of a coder. Any code that I use either is from suggestions from the group, or I go out and I just do a Google search. But some simple stuff like this is great. So, and then the key is, if when you put the iframe down, you got to make sure that it covers. See, that's the problem. When you put this on here, if I say, okay, sidetrack a little bit, but just give you a hint. I'm going to put the iframe down quite a bit, so I just want to make sure my locations and everything work on all the different size displays. But say I wanted to change this heading. I can't click on it because my iframe is on top of it. So sometimes when I edit, I have to take my iframe and move it back up a little bit. So now I can click on this and edit it. But you always have to make sure when you're done editing things, you put your iframe back down a little bit so that it's not cut off. If I go like this, if my iframe was too short, then you wouldn't see all of this, and I think you would also get a scroll bar on the top. So that's another tip. Let me think. Again, I apologize. These aren't real scripted. I'm trying to jump in and do these as I have time. So if I drag them out a little bit, I apologize. But I think that kind of covers it. If we go back, let me go back to the info in the menu. Just a quick recap, so make sure we covered everything. When I create my page, I want to make sure I've got a background that's transparent. Okay. I want to create my layers, and these are layers. You can see it's visible on startup, right? And this desktop layer is not visible on mobile. Like I said, I'll create a part 2 to this video to show you the mobile, where you can create the hamburger menus and everything everybody's been talking about. I'm aligning it to the top. I think that's it. You can see some of these other layers that I have on these pages. The pop-up is for the opt-in pages. So We won't do those in case you were wondering what those were. So I'm going to create the layer. I'm going to create my header bar, my menu, all my main menus, and then I'm going to create a sub menu. In the sub menu, I'm going to put on a panel, and I'm going to name that panel menu about, and then we can put rollover features on it. I showed you that. So any one of these parts, I can do a background on mouse over, set my rollover colors, and then I've got to then go to my actions and see there's no actions when I'm over each individual thing, but if I'm over the main menu, this is when I'm showing my sub menu, my drop down menu, and I'm hiding the other two, and I do that for each one. I also do it for the sub menus. So when I'm in one of these, I don't want any of these to stay popped up, so I make sure I hide these. And again, this might be a little overkill. You may not need it, but if it gets a little buggy and you're like, this is not supposed to be doing this, then this kind of approach takes care of it. It's just bulletproof. You can, anytime I'm in one and I want to make sure that's the only one shown, I hide the other ones. I think that's it. And then to create how they all disappear, again, I would call it boundaries, disappearing boundaries, right? So if they go up, here's my disappearing boundary. And if you look at my actions, I hide everything. And if they go side to side or down, again, I hide everything. So when you get that all done, then you publish it, and you can see the publish, whatever the publish name here is, that's what you're going to iframe on the top of all your other pages. So let's cut the video off here. And again, like I said, to make sure you don't miss any other videos, go over to jimstips.com and sign up for the free membership site. I'm eventually going to do a complete video course on how I set that up, the jimstips.com and the free membership site with using Product Dino. I know a lot of people have membership questions, so I like Product Dino because I can use their form, or I can also use Convertri as almost like a custom membership site. So I'm planning on doing some courses on that as well. So if any of that stuff interests you, please let me know. And again, all these demos that I'm showing you are all free. You don't have to pay anything to get to access to any of this stuff. So for now, that's part one of menus. We'll be coming back with the mobile menu, and I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help. Thanks.